special bits, but the viewers online will not have gained that information.
The special bit, and then everyone's going to be like, wait, what? Because you've just been cut off. Like, did you guys even realise you were doing a podcast? It's like, no. What are you talking about? God.
What are you about, Ram?
God, I ain't got a fucking clue what you're talking about. What's a podcast? Yeah. I'll do a podcast. Do I? What?
Well, apparently you do.
I was going to start the daily vlog again. And then I thought, you know what?
Mate.
I was like, I haven't got anything to say.
Mate, go for it. Oh, fuck.
Well, don't say that, because that means I've got to finish this podcast within the next hour so I can rip out my camera and go, hey, mate, I'm back.
Well, it is the 1st of January, so it would be the right time for you to do it.
I've done everything else.
Exactly. So there you go. Right, so that's that done. I can monitor. I have the ability to monitor chat now.
Ooh, I can't. Well, I can. I just can't be bothered.
It's called having a second monitor and putting both windows on there.
You rich geezer. Another monitor.
Yep.
You.
I tell you what, I got my friend hooked on monitors because he didn't have a monitor.
Is he? How did he use his computer then?
No. Let me say that again. His monitor on his computer broke, and he sent a message out saying, "Has anyone got a spare monitor?" And I had my second monitor. It's like, well, I'll help. This is in the first lockdown, so getting hold of stuff like that was quite hard. So I said, because you need it for work, because you can come have that one. So he came around that evening, picked up the monitor, and I think I lasted all of half an hour without my second monitor. And I messaged him like 2 days later saying, "You like the monitor?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "Do you want to keep it?" I go, "He says, I can if I want it good, because I've got a new one." I couldn't.
And then he's all like,
it.
"Well, don't worry, because I've got 6 more."
He's got 4 now.
Blimey.
Yeah.
On stands or just sat on his desk?
I don't know if he's gone like full hacker cave,
Mate.
but they're all around him. So I mean, one of them is his laptop, so it doesn't really count. But he has got 4
Well, don't say
monitors.
that. You're taking away a couple of my things. Oh, there's a monitor.
I found the other day that the limit of USB devices plugged to your PC is 127. And I thought myself, poor Skazz.
Yeah, mate, don't. Because my laptop has a seizure if I plug in 3 high bandwidth devices, so... nightmare.
And what is it classed as high bandwidth for it? Like a small microphone?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Look, literally, the dongle for one of my mice, right? Well, I've got a microphone with kind of a digital mixer in it, right? And what was the other thing? Yeah, well, just those 2 are enough for it to go, too much stuff being used, and they're USB 2 devices. That's wonderful. Then if I plug in one of my cameras, not enough power, and so the camera doesn't work. So you have to plug that into a USB-C port. Capture card has a hissy fit. Got to plug it into the right port, or it just goes, nope, stutter, nope, USB 2. It isn't USB 2. It is. Look, I fucking assure you it isn't. Look, here you go, bam, plug in there. Oh, you plugged it in next to a microphone. It's like, oh, for God's sake. So, stuff, reasons. I just remember. Do you remember that old PC tower I had that was big enough to sit on?
Yes.
Like, I could have loaded that thing up with a bajillion T devices, and it had no trouble at all. But all of my modern stuff's like, nah, mate, you can't plug stuff in.
What you don't realise is actually if you open up inside, all the parts are connected by USB.
Yeah, it's like a Raspberry Pi. Everything is on the USB bus. And you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. That's why it struggles.
So what are you doing?
Look, I also want to say, Skazz, you got a choice here. You can either have good audio or your graphics card work. Which would you like?
Oh, audio.
Fair enough. By the way, the screen's going black, and we ain't going to tell you what the shortcut key is before we switch it off.
It's like, bollocks. It's like, oh, well, as long as I can still hear my tunes. Oh, no! S Club 7!
What's the skip key? So what's the skip key? The screen momentarily comes back on. We've redefined everything.
Now your screen's gone. Everything's different. No!
My screen is gone. Everything is worse now.
I mean, what could be worse than... I've mentioned S Club 7 twice now, if you include the bonus. So, what's worse than S Club 7?
Backstreet Boys?
Yeah! Backstreet Boy... Who?
I don't know. All I know is all I know is it Backstreet's Back whatever something.
I have no bloody idea. That's pop music, isn't it?
I walked in. My sister's watching. She watches. Despite the fact we have access to music, she watches music videos on YouTube, like in the background.
But
you know, we've got like an Alexa with like Spotify on it. You could just.
I was going to say,
play
don't you?
whatever want.
Don't
Yeah.
you guys use Spotify? Don't
Yeah,
you? Do you?
we have got. I think we've got it set up. Yeah, I don't use Spotify, but we have got it. Alexa,
What do you use?
I honestly, I listen to so little music. I own it.
You
all.
you just buy the tracks off iTunes.
Pretty much, yeah. I think I haven't bought I think I last bought some music about a year ago.
You bought
I bought Cyberpunk. That's the last thing I bought was the Cyberpunk soundtrack.
But you did buy that off of iTunes,
yeah?
Yeah. So
Yeah. So that was about that'd been what 6-7 months ago.
I mean, is there no? I mean, I know we're going off on a bit of a tangent here, but is there a service that would swing you, or is it just you know?
I just don't spend it. I don't use. If I was buying like albums every month, I would say what's worth me paying subscription fees for some. But as I don't,
Yeah.
you know, if I spend like the grand total of like £10 a year on music, there's no point me having a subscription service.
Fair that. I mean, that is how I used to be until my spuds got into music, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just pay for a Spotify family plan."
Well, that's fair enough.
And then they can do it. But I mean, yeah, well, fair that.
Well, currently I don't have children, so I'm safe from that.
He's safe for now. So who owns the Spotify subscription then?
I think my father's got it because they've got their Alexa on their own Amazon accounts. I think it's his.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, because I don't like using the Amazon Alexa stuff for music because you have to bind your accounts to your Amazon account.
It might be Amazon Music actually. Now I think about it.
Oh, fair enough. So I was going to say like, so if you have, right, so you have to sign into your Alexa with your Amazon account, don't you? And then, so let's say for example, my spuds want to use Spotify on the Alexa. You can only have one Spotify account signed into that Alexa.
Right, yeah.
Whereas if you have, say, a Google Home speaker, it doesn't care. You just cast it to, like, every account can access it as long as you can push a link to the speaker. But for some reason, Amazon don't like you doing that.
No.
It's weird.
Very weird.
Stupid Amazon.
Yeah. So, yeah, anyway. I walked in and she was watching, I think it was one of Backstreet Boys' songs, and it's your typical 90s music video. The music video has absolutely no bearing whatsoever on the song. Which is music video in general, to be fair, but it was just your typical one. I was like, they were like in a haunted house, and there's like, one of them's a vampire, one of them's a werewolf. I was like, what's this got to do with the song? She goes, absolutely nothing. He's like, fair enough. That sounds like 90s music videos to me.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. But it could be worse, like 80s music videos, where I think they literally just got like they've just got a drum of nouns, a drum of verbs, and a drum of places. We're gonna have rummage in there. We're gonna have a small child wearing a hockey mask in the Antarctic, and that's gonna be our music video.
Brilliant.
I think that's how the 80s music videos did it.
Sounds about right. I mean, I'm sure that everyone was. No, I was then thinking the 60s. I was going to say in the 60s you could say everything was an acid trip.
I mean, in the 60s they just tended to just film the people singing.
Yeah.
I think one of the first music videos was "Pretty Woman Walking Down the Street," Pretty Woman, and it's pretty much the guy. And the video it's pretty much the guy sat down on a bench, just staring at camera, singing to him. Just the one camera angle interspersed with pictures of this woman's legs walking down the street, and it's just back and forth. And I'm pretty sure that's the whole video.
That's fantastic.
It is.
That's art. Right there.
Simpler time.
Yep.
Simpler time. When you only had one camera.
Well, cameras and film stock was
no.
expensive.
Yeah. It's like, shall we remove the camera? No.
Mate, you know you've made it if you're from back in the day, right? If you were making music back then, you know you made it, or you'd proper sold out hard when they let you have a music video. But we've just done 5 albums, but now you can have a music video. We've made it.
We're there now, yay! And it turns up and like, this is Nigel with his camera. So what are you going to film? Where's the director? Oh, that's Nigel. And who's the sound person? That's Nigel.
Don't worry,
Right.
Nigel's got it covered, man. Nigel's got it covered.
Yeah. Who's singing the song? Oh, Nigel's singing the song. You're just miming.
Wait, what? So have we not got a backing track? Yeah, Nigel's your backing track.
Yeah. Nigel's down. He's got a guitar and a set of drums.
And backup dancers, Nigel.
Nigel on a skirt. Yep.
Lighting guy, Nigel.
Nigel.
Catering, Nigel.
Nigel.
And Nigel's mate, just in case you need a sandwich whilst he's doing something.
Yeah. Who's that other guy? Oh, that's Nigel's assistant. Don't I get assistant? No, you're not important enough. Nigel's doing all this other stuff. What are you doing?
Wait,
Who's in
why
charge
are
of
we
makeup?
paying you again?
Nigel. Yeah. Who's in charge of makeup? Nigel.
It's like, but wait, what? And it turns out, like, I don't know, Nigel's this big burly guy with a beard, half a beard, and then the side that ain't bearded has got like lipstick. And
So
like
he has to turn different ways. He's like left facing, right.
that is
facing.
exactly it. And then I don't know, like a tutu. And then like he turns to the side and it's like a pair of cut off jeans and
Yeah.
with a suit jacket on top. Just because why not?
Why not?
Acid trip.
Yeah, just curious, who owns this record label? Nigel.
Who handles payroll? Nigel.
Nigel.
Driver? Nigel.
Nigel.
So
Nigel has a driver. You have to walk.
fucking Nigel Records. Who did we sign with again?
Nigel.
It's like, god damn. Nigel's seriously, someone put that on a shirt. You know, Nigel's Record Company.
Yeah. I think just a shirt just says, "Who's in charge of this?" Nigel.
Yeah, who are you going to call? Nigel.
Anyway, good evening, everybody. I'm the Seven Graham.
Skazz?
Welcome to episode 182 of the Randos podcast, and happy 2022.
Nearly 12 minutes of fluff. You're welcome.
And for the audio listeners, probably more like 15 minutes of fluff.
Providing services since forever. Because Nigel.
We're making plans for Nigel.
So, does anything feel different to you, given that a day has gone by and we've thrown away the calendar? Has that left a huge hole in your life?
There's actually a gap on the wall.
That's pretty bad. You're going to fill it with a calendar of roughly the same size?
We've got a little calendar because, well, actually, I'm hoping you would have a little calendar as well in your hamper.
We do, and we've drawn pictures. We've made it so the animals say things, and then we've
Right.
drawn little cartoon versions of Charlie Spaniel on it too, and he's agreeing with them.
Fantastic. We'll have to see that version of it later, and I will show my friend that version of it later. Well, I see him next.
It's class.
Yeah, which is actually tomorrow. I've been press going to Moving Pigs tomorrow.
Oh, bless him. Where are you moving him to?
Oh, I don't know, slaughterhouse or something. I don't know.
Fantastic.
I said, "Oh, how are you? Have a good New Year." Yeah. He says, "What are your plans for tomorrow morning?"
It's like, this is
let's
incredibly short notice. Curing cancer.
Yeah, it'd be a really good idea if those pigs moved. I think it'd be
I'm
really good if
pretty
you did
sure
it-
they do already, unless they're in a packet.
Yes, but move where we want them to move, not where they want to go. And I think it'd be really good if we did it about 7:30 tomorrow morning.
Interesting.
Right. What are you up to tomorrow morning? Nothing. Excellent.
Excellent.
I'll see you there then. Yes, you will.
Good job, Rat.
Yeah. But, yeah.
That's beautiful.
So yes, I've been pressed going to Moving Pigs. But yeah, other than that, well, you probably can't see on the YouTube video, but I've de-Christmased myself. I was like, so I like to myself up, fuck it. So the tree went out yesterday, everything got pulled down, there's a pile of stuff ready to get back in the loft.
Yeah, we pretty much did that today. Christmas tree's still out the front. Never came in the house. It's just out there, chilling out, doing
That's
its thing,
quite nice.
being a tree.
Probably lasts better out the front anyway.
Yeah, we're probably going to plant it, actually, but, you know, whatever.
Is that a pot grown one?
Yeah, apparently it's got roots and stuff. Mate, I still
there's
don't know. It's a tree. You ask me
Which
these
is
questions
true.
around Christmas. I don't know. It's a tree. It's green. It does
see,
things.
I've worked in the garden centre department, so I'm quite up on Christmas trees. But you see, there's two types of trees. You've got pot grown, you've got potted. And pot grown's the one you want, because pot grown, literally, as the name says, it's been grown in the pot, which means you can plant them out. Whereas potted one's been grown in the soil, then been cut out and shoved in a pot. Those ones may survive, but it's unlikely they'll survive because they've had their entire root system destroyed.
Because they're bastards.
Yes.
Unfortunate
So,
bastards.
if you want to buy a tree in a pot that you want to last, make sure it's pot grown, not potted.
There you go. You've learned something new today.
That's all I knew. I mean, I had a Norway spruce this year, my real tree in the corner that's now sitting outside, dropping on its needles.
It's now brown.
It is now brown because I completely forgot to water it. And
How did you forget to water it? It's there.
I've had a lot of things on my mind the last 3 weeks, so
Fair point.
To water it.
Fair point. I mean, I don't think I'd get away with the same thing if it was my children. Why don't you feed your kids? I've got a lot of things on my mind right now.
Children, after a certain point, children can feed themselves.
Oh, you'd be surprised, mate.
As long as they know where the bread is and how to use a toaster,
No.
you're pretty much sure at that point.
You're not getting this. Like, the children learn. They're like little sponges until they get to a certain age, and then they kind of regress as they hit that teenage kind of area. Mm-hmm. And then everyone else has to do everything for them, otherwise it's too hard.
That's when you let them starve.
Yeah, well, that was my idea, but I got told that's not on. It's apparently society doesn't like people being taught hard lessons. It's like, do you want to eat? Yeah. Then fucking go and feed yourself. Yeah. But Dad, that's your job. It's like, sometimes. Look, children, I'm going to sound really... Look, when I'm fucking dead, who's going to feed you? Not that die, Dad.
Mum.
Yeah. And what are you going to do when she dies? Well, Nanny will feed us. What about Nanny? Charlie Spaniel. What about when he's gone? He's not allowed to go, mate. I was like, no, you have a fair point. He's got to live forever. Fuck. What are you going to do when society crumbles? Well, no, mate, crumble with it. All right, there you go.
They've got a plan at least, which is quite nice.
Oh, how are you going to eat? Well, mate, fucking just eat. It's like, yeah,
well, then, welcome to the world of being a PC gamer.
Yeah, good call. Who's going to shovel it into your face? Oh, no, mate. Like maybe the cleaner's going to come in and feed you every day?
A PC gamer needs access to free websites or /services. Steam, Just Eat, Amazon, and they're set for life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what if you can't get to the door?
Well, you have to put notes in the thing. They have to bring it to you. So say, I can't waddle to the door. So,
the key's under the tree.
Yeah. The key's under the tree, which has now been left there so long it's grown bigger than the house.
Good luck finding it. Please feed me.
Please help. Oh, Just Eat present. To be fair, at that point, now old delivery drivers will know you anyway, and they'll just bring it straight to you without asking.
You right, mate? How you doing? So, you finished that raid yet? Nah, we bloody wiped, bastards. What are you doing here? Get back and heal. It's like, but you ordered food, mate.
Your Just Eat delivery driver is like your group's healer. You're just sitting there about to go in the rain, all of a sudden in chat saying, sorry guys, I've got a Deliveroo to do.
You motherfucker. What's more important to you, your house or the raid?
And 10 minutes later, you get a knock on the door, and it's like, I'm here to give you a pizza. Oh, good, our drive's disappeared off as well. Oh, right, yeah, well, I'll be back home in 10 minutes. Okay. 10 minutes later, I'm back, guys.
You fucking wanker, what took you so long?
Yeah.
It's like, but mate, it was your food. Shh.
No, I did that. You didn't know that. The two people that don't know that the healer is not just him in the game, but in real life as well.
You know, Oculus did that with the old the Quest advert. Have you seen the new Quest advert?
No, I've not.
Well, it's Oculus Meta, but they have an advert where these two blokes are like really good friends in VR, just dicking around all the time, and it cuts around their apartments, and you see they're hanging out with their girlfriends, and their girlfriends roll their eyes as they're getting really excited because they're dancing around their living rooms in their standalone VR and that. And when they're out, you know, they always bump into like the neighbor in the apartment next door kind of thing. And then they get back into the VR and they're having a good time and all that. And then at one point, they go, hang on a minute. They lift up the VR headset and start shouting at the neighbor through the wall. Yeah. And it cuts between, and they're shouting at each other, but they don't realize. Because the neighbor that's making too much noise is the guy they're playing with in VR, and he puts back on his headset. He's like, oh, yeah, that fucking neighbor is such a dick. Yeah, mine too. So, you know, I thought it was a pretty good advert, to be honest with you.
Oculus Meta making people less social.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you know, who gives a damn about the IRLs, man? The meat space. You want to be in that VR space, you know?
Yeah.
Living the dream.
This job we see what's his face in charge of Facebook? I've forgotten his name now.
Oh, Zuck.
Zuckerberg, yeah. He read Ready Player One and thought, yes.
That's it.
That's it, yes. He just doesn't realise he's going to be IRI.
Well, that's kind of the thing, though, isn't it? But like everyone mentions Ready Player One, but Metaverse is Snow Crash, isn't it?
I've not read Snow Crash.
Yeah, it's like the word Metaverse is a snow crash. They're just a virtual world that people buy real estate in and buy and trade and make items and all that kind. It's the Metaverse is in Snow Crash.
They're just not being subtle about it anymore.
No.
You got to hand it to them. They've said, look, everyone knows we're the evil group in here, so let's just roll with it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. They're trying. I mean, they've rebranded.
Oh, they're very trying.
They're good at trying. They're also good at fucking failing. But I don't know. I'll stick to VR chat, thanks, Facebook. Just saying. I'll stick to VR chat and Rec Room and... Oh! Just quickly, speaking of VR, Honorary Nerd Zaber has got a Quest 2.
He has. He messaged me the other day.
Did he?
Yes, he wished me a good new year. And his other exciting news for us, he's back with us.
Is he?
From the 18th.
18th? That's ages away.
So not next games night, but the games after, he's back with us.
Oh my god, what are we going to play?
Well, I suggested Vermintide 2.
Sounds like a plan, man.
Because it was about this time last year playing Vermintide 1, so that'd be quite a sort of nice little anniversary.
Yeah, and we're living in a fucking plague-infested world as is.
Yeah.
I just don't like killing big rats because they're well cute, mate. Innit?
One day. Oh, well, currently...
One day? Jesus fucking Christ.
One day the rats will come. One day I'll turn up at your door in Skaven cosplay.
That'd be fantastic. That would be I love Skaven.
Everybody likes Skaven.
If they don't, they're wrong.
If they don't, then Clan Ashen will have a word with them. So,
Vermintide 2?
Right, how we better make it actually start?
Oh yeah, sure. Fuck.
Yeah. So yeah, we hope we had a good Christmas and a good New Year. I was excited because I watched the James Webb launch. Did you watch the James Webb launch?
No.
I'm assuming not. Oh, that was good. That was interesting. That was Christmas Day.
Oh, so well, the thing is, that to me, is they actually did it.
Yeah, they kept delaying. It's been delayed for months and months, and it got they're going to launch it I think on Monday before Christmas, and it got delayed because they had some issues. Then it got delayed to box it at Christmas Eve, and then it got delayed again because the weather wasn't quite right. But then so Christmas Day, so got home. I was quite nice to just pop that on, watch it launch. I find it incredible going up. You didn't see much because it was cloudy. But yeah, some nice animations which look like they're made in Blender by somebody like doing mid-practice. That was quite exciting.
It's not a very nice thing to say, Ram.
They weren't great animations, if I'm honest, but they got the idea. But watching it up, and you can actually watch the tracker on James Webb on NASA's site. You can watch and see where it is as it heads off 1,000,000 miles away.
Beautiful.
Yes, it's halfway there as we speak, but it's not going to arrive for another 25 days.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
That'll be fine, yeah. I'll put a link to the tracker in the feed. But yeah, that was a bit of excitement. You'll be pleased to know the cold side of it's currently minus 182 degrees Celsius.
Excellent.
So, other than that, yeah. Christmas, yeah, whatever. So I saw you did your 24-hour live stream.
I did, although I only played one game. Because the stream went a bit broken within the first hour. As it usually does.
Yeah.
If anything's going to go wrong, it usually goes wrong in the first hour. And I thought I was going to be clever and use NDI streaming. So the idea of NDI is that you have one master device and then loads of little client devices. And so, for example, right, let's say I've got a main rig here, my PC, or the stream PC, we'll say, yeah? and I can set up various scenes on this machine, and then any other machine on my network can become an NDI device. And so if we were doing next year's 24 hours, if we all get out of lockdown.
You mean this year's?
This year's, next year's, whenever. Well, you guys probably won't turn up for this year, so it will be next year. I'm in Karma Debt till 2024, so don't get your hopes up too much, right? But the idea being that then if I say, right, well, we could all be streaming at the same time to our own individual channels, okay? And then I could go, right, well, what's RAM up to? And on the main stream rig, hit the button that points to the scene that represents your PC. And because your machine is an NDI device, it is pushing a feed of what you're streaming directly from your machine through the network to the stream rig. And then we could effectively turn your rig into a camera of sorts. So if you change scenes, it changes scenes on the stream rig. If I change to Zaber and Zaber does something, it appears on the stream rig. If I do something and it's on the correct scene, it'll change and all that kind of stuff. So we don't have to have, 50 bajillion capture cards hooked up because NDI will do that work for you. However, turns out I'd somehow managed to saturate my home network, not a surprise, and the NDI failed after about an hour.
Bless it.
I could probably work out some of the bugs, but it was nice because I actually had 2 rigs running at once. My laptop for my stream for twitch.tv/Skazz and everywhere else, and then my main PC was running the Ran Nerd stream to Twitch and YouTube. And so the laptop was feeding NDI video to the main PC, and so if I changed scenes on my laptop, the exact same thing would happen on the PC. It would take all of the same audio, all of the same video from the laptop and just slap it into the PC. And it was when it worked, it was fantastic. But then just out of nowhere, there seemed to be a couple of hiccups, and first off, it looked like it fell out of sync. Put a 5-second delay on it, and then the next time it went, it was just like, nope, we can't catch up. The audio kept going, but the video just had a bit of a hissy, so I ended up having to revert to using multiple capture cards and all that kind of stuff. But we played through Spider-Man on Marvel Spider-Man on PlayStation 4, but we played it on a PlayStation 5 system. I was a bit annoyed partway through to find that had I have bought the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, Spider-Man Miles Morales game, the next one in the series, if you'd have bought the Ultimate version, you'd have got the PS5 remaster of the Spider-Man game that I was playing. But whatever. Honestly, really, really, really fun game. I thought...
Did it minimise the Stukas, that game, at some point in the past?
I believe he did. He did chat about it. It's quite an old one in the grand scheme of things. It was an exclusive for PlayStation 4, but obviously, PlayStation 5 plays a lot of the old PS4 games backwards compat. It's pretty sound. I do quite like Spider-Man as a character, but I'm not a huge fan of console exclusives. But yeah, it was fine. It was smooth, and I'll tell you something. A game well optimized on reasonable hardware will show you that it's not all about res. Because that Spider-Man game looked fantastic, and it was the PlayStation 4 game. It looked fantastic. It was smooth. The lighting was good. It was all in pretty good. I'd say the music needed to change and the gameplay needed a bit of polish, but but it's an open world game, so there's always going to be something that's a little bit wobbly. But
we've said in the past, haven't we, that actually that's not quite so high res, but better frame rates make something look prettier than the opposite way around.
Yes. Yeah. Oh god, yeah. Yeah. But it was a really, 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 really nice game. I wasn't a huge fan of parts of the story. But other parts were absolutely fantastic. I won't spoiler it, but there's a couple of characters in it that just don't look right. There's nothing wrong with the character itself. There's a character in it called Mr. Negative, And when
He's really down everything all the time.
yes, actually, because he has a counterpart, Mr. Positive. But I won't go into it because that'll spoil everything for you. But the thing is, when he's Mr. Negative, he's like a film negative, so everything is inverted. But when he's in his regular human form, looks fine. Character model looks great. But when he turns into Mr. Negative, it looks shit. He looks like a melted action man. Like all, like Oblivion models? Like all rubbery and just not right.
Yeah.
That's how he looks as Mr. Negative. It looks really, 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 really stupid. And when you look at it compared to every other model in the game, you're like, oh my god, why? Why did you choose this character of all fucking people to be in the game when you have a bucket ton, decades of other characters you could have put in? But it was all in. It was pretty sound. I liked what they did with characters that, other than Mr. Negative, that they put in. Really fucking tugs on the heartstrings at some points. DLC was okay. Worst part of it was the forced stealth sections. When you're not playing as Spider-Man. So they force you to play as other characters that aren't the title character. And it's just like, they're kind of shit.
You know the really fun part about this game? Well, you get to play the game without the fun part.
Yeah, that's it. Well, because when Hideo Kojima did it with Metal Gear Solid, right? In Metal Gear Solid 2, you played as Solid Snake, and then at the start, and then Hideo Kojima's idea was we would give you a rookie character to play as for the rest of the game. Yeah, to make Solid, you'd be able to see Solid Snake as another person going like, wow, the things that Snake do, the things that he does, the things that he can do, they're just amazing. He's really cool. But the trouble is it never fucking works because you don't want to be the person going, Snake's really cool, because you already know Snake's really fucking cool because you've played as Snake. You want to be Snake.
You want to play as the cool guy.
Yeah. And it's the same in this Spider-Man game. You play as these regular scrubby humans and it's like, oh, look, hey, there's Spider-Man. You see Spider-Man kind of climb out of vents and stuff and swing through the sky. And you're like, yeah, that's great. I want to be doing that. I don't want to be watching Spider-Man do it. I want to do it. And it never works out. And there's a few segments like that in the game, and it just makes me want to punch someone in the fucking face. Just not. That weren't good. Wasn't
but
fucking
you
good.
get away with that is if you had that the only bit it takes place, say, is the intro to introduce who the cool character you're going to be. It's probably the only way you get away with that.
Yeah.
Putting you in, after giving you the taste of playing Spider-Man and then taking it all away from you, that is when it feels like shit.
Yes. Yeah. I just imagine the way it plays, imagine Far Cry. Weirdly enough. Or Watch Dogs. So yeah, probably more like Watch Dogs, like a third person, or actually Assassin's Creed. Funny enough, where you hold down the trigger and he automatically runs up walls and stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of groove. Loads of objectives pop up on the map. Find checkpoints or waypoints or whatever to open up the rest of the map to show you where other things are that you can go and do. Do enough of them and you can go do a story mission.
Basically, loads of icons, get rid of them.
Yeah, that's the groove. Same kind of groove in like Cyberpunk, Watch Dogs, fucking Assassin's Creed, the other games. Standard open world fare, like Zelda Breath of the Wild, Genshin Impact. Like just find checkpoint, make loads of blips on map, make blips go away. Game finished. Story is a mix of all different Marvel comic stuffs. Like I said, a whole new set of origin stories, which is weird because how many different times are you going to tell us about how Spider-Man became a thing and then change it? It was fun, and it lasted the entirety of the 24 hours, and I'd got up to the very last DLC when the 24 hours was up.
Oh.
So I've got one more DLC to go, which will probably last for another hour or so. If I'd have stopped faffing around at the start of the game, I could have probably platinumed it and just finished it. Like everyone wants to platinum at like 100% or whatever. But no, I didn't do that in the end. But it was neat. It was very fun. Had all of the machines and that not crapped out partway through, then I would have probably streamed other stuff too. But when the original NDI capture crapped out, I was like, nah, fuck it, we'll just stay on the PlayStation 5 and go through that. But I do recommend it, even if you're not necessarily a Spider-Man fan. I just wish that the game was on other platforms other than just the PlayStation 5. But considering, or PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, but considering Sony owns Spider-Man, you'll probably never see it. And the music sucks. Just saying. Music sucks. And stealth sections.
No,
and having to listen to Mary Jane fucking Watson whine all the time. It's like, I don't want to play as Mary Jane Watson. I don't want to stealth as Mary Jane Watson. Who gives a fuck about Mary Jane Watson? And then it makes you play as Mary Jane bloody Watson.
That character you'll hate. Great news! You're getting more of them.
It was nice to introduce Miles Morales, though, who's the star of the sequel. And his kind of relationship with Peter Parker and how he comes to be. But that's different from how it was supposed to happen in the comic books too. But just look at it as its own individual thing.
Isn't he the one who's in, is it Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Something like that? Isn't he the character in like the...
the animated film. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the young lad that takes over the role of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So he magically gets Spider-Man powers through another radioactive spider bite.
So many of them around.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And then he figures out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man because Spider-Man helps him out one day before he gets his powers. And then eventually they kind of become friends, and he realizes that Peter is Spider-Man, and he starts to get taught how to be Spider-Man by Spider-Man, and then eventually he becomes Spider-Man, and there you go.
The amount of times you said Spider-Man in that last paragraph was impressive.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man saw Spider-Man, who met with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man met with Spider-Man, and all Spider-Mans went and did Spider-Man-y things, and before one of them became Spider-Man.
And there you go, nailed it.
There we go. That's basically summarised the whole Spider-Man universe.
Yes. And Mary Jane sucks. And not in a fun way. Just saying. Fuck, I hate forced stealth sections. I hate forced stealth sections.
Yeah. So
much. But the 24 hours was smooth. It was easy. It was a cakewalk, an absolute cakewalk. The game was enjoyable. I can't really go into it in a huge amount of detail, even though I've just gone and burnt about 3 billion years talking about it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Right. I will take up my game.
You've been playing something!
I have, but I really need to go inside the house and go to the 4Wii. So, Skazz, edit this bit out.
Okay.
When you do the thing. People all watching live stream, you're just going to talk amongst yourselves for 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Get ready to time him. Bastard, I've got a clock on my screen.
3, go.
22, 39, and 40. Come on! He can do it. And the funny thing is, he's gone and left me here to do this. And I don't have access to the chat. It's dumb. It's very, very, very dumb. Why would you do that, Ram? Who really knows? Because he needs to pee, obviously, and peeing is more important than the podcast. I don't agree. I think he should have just sat there and pissed himself, but he's late. I can't just remember when we said that he went, but he's late, and I can't see the chat. I can't talk to him. I'm just sat here talking to myself like a Looney Tune. Should have probably really thought about what I want to talk about before we started the podcast, because I knew the podcast was going to be today. I just didn't really give it any thought. I never really do. Once upon a time, these things used to fly. Oh, he's back. It's not too late.
Did I win?
No, you're not too late. You're fine.
Oh, good. Right.
I thought
So-
it was funny that you kept me here to entertain the chat, but I didn't have access to the chat. There's no one there.
Well, Annie says Annie has activated his stopwatch, and Annie can now stop his stopwatch.
Did he win?
Evening, lads.
Because I did mention what time you went, and then I forgot when I said you went.
Well, you'll have to look when you do the end of the podcast. You have to look and see.
Mate,
Oh, well, I
I'll
was
forget that I even need to look because of my Alzheimer's disease.
You're forgetting to edit this back bit out, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. It's
Like
like
2 minutes.
this is exactly the same length as it was when we did it live. Have you even edited this? What? Edited what?
What? I edit things.
What's a podcast? And how come this is only one track?
Well, I've been playing Deathloop.
Oh right,
So,
the other game that PlayStation users go, oh mate, it's a PlayStation exclusive. It isn't. It's on PC.
I'll say that's news to me because I'm playing it on Steam.
There you go.
So I saw Deathloop back when it launched. I saw it. I thought that looks a bit like Dishonored. Oh, it's made by the same people who made Dishonored. That explains a lot. But because it's very similar style, Arcane have got a very distinctive style now. So it's different sort of that world. So whereas Dishonored is sort of a steampunky world, this is more like sort of 1970s, 1970s sort of like sort of science laboratory type world. So that's the sort of style.
I was going to say that's a very. I'm like, wait, what did science labs look like in 1970?
Right.
Now imagine an entire world that looks like a
Everything-
science lab from the 1970s.
Yeah, everything's beige and it's all very curvy, but there's some sort of bright things to it. So you know that bit in Portal 2 where you go back to you go to like the 1970s lab.
So everything looks like even outside looks like the 1970s.
Yes.
Like a lab though. So no streets, no lamps, no.
Oh, there's streets and lamps. Most of them destroyed.
Oh, excellent, cool.
That's outside bits. So Deathloop is quite an interesting concept. So the basic idea is you are on this island, and you are playing a guy called Colt. Well, actually, you can play as two different characters, but they're very distinct, different play styles. And you wake up on a beach, and you have no idea how you got there. But as you walk around, like words and like messages start appearing on like the sort of like rocks and terrain around you, telling you to do things.
Yeah.
And you work out pretty quickly that you are in a time loop. The whole world is in time loop, a 24-hour time loop of a day. And every time you die, the loop resets. And initially, you lose everything. The only thing you carry between loops is knowledge. You remember that something you've discovered or uncovered, you remember between loops. But any equipment you're carrying, initially, any equipment you're carrying, any things you unlock, you lose all of it.
Sounds like Minute.
Yeah, similar idea. So you basically have to, you find that to break the loop, to stop the loop repeating itself, you have to, it's being sort of maintained stable by these visionaries, of which there are 8. And the only way to break the loop is to kill all 8 of them in one cycle. So if any of them survive, and you get to the end of the loop, the cycle ends. So how that actually represents in game is the game is sort of split into, there are 4 levels that you can go between, and there's 4 time zones. There's morning, midday, afternoon, and evening. Or noon, I say. Morning, noon, afternoon, evening. And you can visit a time zone at any one of those points in the day. Once you go to a time zone, though, the time isn't, it's not like there's an actual timer counting down to move it on. It's not like actual time. It's more like a distinct bit. So you go to a map in the morning. It doesn't matter if you're there 10 minutes or 2 hours of your gameplay. When you come back, it will only advance to noon.
Okay.
So it advances, but you leaving the maps is what makes the time advance.
Okay.
So you don't have to, you're not against the clock in the actual maps themselves. However, you obviously have to plan your day to go around places to see things. Now, what else happens is in the maps, there'll be certain events that only occur. So, like, the visionaries might only be accessible in certain parts of the map at certain times a day.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to plan something to get. And also, there'll be lots of other things that you can explore. Like, there might be, like, you'll find a note where someone says, oh, we're going to bring a load of supplies in this afternoon. So that'll only be accessible in the afternoon. And the game helps you. There's like a whole like organizational chart which tells you what time all these events are going to happen. So, and some take place any time of the day. Some are like, okay, you can only visit here in certain times of the day. So how this all teaches you the first time round is you go to the first sort of like section of the game. Sort of, it spends the prologue bit. If you take your time over it, you're probably going to take a couple of hours where you sort through the prologue, where it sort of teaches you what's going on, and you follow its little routine. Where you go to like first, you go to like where you lived in Upton, and you find your apartment, and there's a safe there, and like a computer which you can access and read things and so forth. And the safe there is a code on the safe that you don't know. So, but you get a lead to go to somebody else. When you get to that other person, you find out the code for the safe.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time you go back to your apartment, somebody has got there ahead of you. This sort of antagonist called Juliana has got there, and she's raided the safe and got there before you to stop you getting it. But it's okay because you know time's going to loop again. So when time loops again, you can go back there in the morning and get there first.
Sure.
So it's all about sort of like that sort of thing. It's all plays idea, and it's actually quite so the idea is quite neat. Eventually, you unlock this stuff called a residium, which basically allows you to infuse weapons and powers and so forth, and basically makes them stay between cycles.
Yeah.
And it costs it varies in price. So something pretty basic mainly costs like 3,000 residium. To like your like powers, what they call slabs, cost about sort of 15,000. So you have, apart from your basic weapons, you also have trinkets and you have slabs. So trinkets are like little upgrades for your weapons, and also for you, like little mini upgrades. So they might make your weapon more accurate, make you sort of like reload stuff quicker. For yourself, you might be able to increase the speed of your health regen, increase the speed of your power regen, double jump, that sort of thing. So little upgrades. But the big sort of powers are called slabs. And you're going to get slabs by killing visionaries or Juliana. Slabs are basically like sort of Dishonored's powers, basically, how you have your outsider powers. So like there's a slab called Shift, which is basically the navigation method that you played when you played Corvo, where you used to like blink, that was it. So blink mechanic from Dishonored. It even uses very similar sort of graphics to tell you how to, like, in Dishonored, it's like sort of put up and show like an arrow, so you're going to climb up it. It uses say similar graphics to it. There's one that sort of makes you invisible. There's one that makes you like really hard to kill, that increases your output damage and reduces your incoming damage, so it makes you really tough. There's one that basically allows you to throw people around. And these slabs are... So every visionary has a unique slab that they always have. And if you kill them, you get the slab. And if you kill them again in another cycle, you get an upgrade for the slab.
Mm-hmm.
So by killing them again and again and again, you can upgrade it. Now, like everything, you have to infuse these with residium. Otherwise, you will lose in the next cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to like pick much and sort of like plan how you're going to pick stuff so you don't lose stuff you don't want to. Particularly because slabs are... I say they're hard to get. Most of the people you face are, for a sort of normal logic, like a headshot is deadly. If you get on these guys in the head, you're killing them. They're not like sort of superpowered tanks, boss characters. If you get the drop, their only powers are these slabs. If you get the drop on them, you've got them. So you don't have to worry about that sort of thing. But then you sort of like maintain ground. Now, Juliana's different. So Juliana, she will invade your... If you're like in an area where there's a visionary, occasionally she'll invade and try and take you out, and she'll lock down the tunnels that you need to escape. And so the only way to get it back is you have to hack like an antenna to unlock the tunnels. So she'll basically hunt you down. She starts looking for you, and you can, if you kill her, she'll have a random slab, which she appears. You'll be using a random slab, and she'll attack you with random. And if you kill her, you pick the slab up, and obviously it's one you've already got. You can upgrade it, or you can gain it for the first time. Now, this is the interesting part of the game. The game has a player invasion mechanic, if you want to switch it on. So when you're on your title screen, you have the option of, it appears like Colt and Juliana appear, and then it switches to like a zoom in on their handguns, they're pointing guns at each other, and your option is to break the loop or protect the loop. So break the loop is a single player game. If you go protect the loop, you become an invading character in other people's worlds. So you can actually go into their world and actually try and take them out.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to. You can switch that off. I hate other players messing on phone, so I switch that off.
Sure.
But you can switch on if you want to. One of us, or a power you get very early on, sort of a slab you get early on, is called resilience, I think it's called. Basically, it gives you like 2 lives. So if you die, you don't die and the game resets. It gives you gives you a life that respawns, and you're like momentarily invisible when you respawn. All your residuum you're carrying gets dropped at your corpse. You have to go to your corpse and find it to get it back. It's supposed to be like sort of Souls and Dark Souls in a way.
Yeah.
But if you die twice and then die a third time, that's it, and the loop resets.
Okay.
And anything you had on you, or your residuum you had on you, anything that you had that wasn't infused is lost.
Yeah.
So the game resets. As I say, it's a neat concept. There's only sort of 4 levels, but each level's different at different times of day, so they do vary a little bit. But there's 4 basic levels, and once you know your way around, but it's designed so that it's quite nice because as you go around, you sort of explore levels, you find new routes and explore routes, and you know that when you go back, it's like, I know how to sneak around this bit now. I know how to get to that bit now. Whereas obviously a normal like game like that, open world game like that, where all the levels sort of cut off. Once you've done it once, you couldn't do it to your next playthrough, or if you spent a lot of time exploring the first time round. So it encouraged you a bit actually to not worry too much about looking for every nook and cranny every time when you first play it. Because when I was playing Dishonored, every time I went to a level, I spent a lot of time exploring everywhere because once you've gone past that level, you've gone past it.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it's like, no, it's okay. You'll be coming back here multiple times. So explore as you find stuff, and you'll find something. You may find something new every time you come back to a level. And obviously, different times of day, certain things will unlock at different times of day. So you don't feel discouraged to sneak up to like explore and so forth. You don't feel like you have to explore everywhere. You can sort of like, oh, I'll come look at that next time when I'm around here, or perhaps I'll find something else. Likewise, there's no sort of chaos mechanic to it either, which is nice. So you can kill people and not worry, which obviously I hate. I just like the fact that Dishonored had the chaos mechanic, which I thought was always a weak part, and they should have got rid of it. But they don't have it in this game, which is so nice because you kill people, and because it's a loop, they come back. They basically, when you kill them, they just sort of disappear, but they come back the next loop.
Yeah, sure.
So you sort of, and they have the same conversation. So again, if you like this, or like listening to conversations or game or backstory and so forth, if you miss that, it's okay. If you come back in the next day in the next loop, you can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all power. So it's a neat concept. Hasn't quite gripped me in the same way that Dishonored would. I mean, I haven't played Dishonored for hours and hours on end. This hasn't quite gripped me in the same way. I'm not quite sure what it is about. It just hasn't quite got that X factor about it.
Sure.
I'm enjoying me. I've put about sort of 18 hours into it.
Wow.
If you don't bother to go like or explore, just concentrate on going through like the main story, apparently you can get through in about 15 hours.
Yes.
If you just go for the main bits, which is reasonable. But if you spend your time going around it, you'll take about 30 odd hours because there are 8 visionaries, 4 levels, and they all work at different times. So you have to figure out where 2 visionaries cross over to be able to get everybody killed in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So it's a neat concept. It's a neat game. I have found the shooting of it. It's not, the AI isn't brilliant. The AI people are. I mean, they're not meant to be brilliant because they're called eternalists. These people who are like looping round, and then they're like sort of people who like sort of like got sort of paid money to go there. You know, they paid money to be there, but they're not soldiers, so they don't really know what they're doing, and so they're all trying to kill you, and they don't have really got that much skills, and it sort of like plays into there. They'll shout like each other. I thought you were flanking him. That's not flanking.
Mm-hmm.
And like someone says, and when they get down to like 1 or 2, all of a sudden they'll start shouting, "Right, I'm reloading. It's only me left. Oh, who am I talking to?"
All right.
And stuff like that. Yeah. So they'll sort of like get panicky and stuff because they don't really know. Some are obviously better than others. They don't really know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do get the drop, and you can do like sort of this sort of thing where you can sort of like find yourself in the right place where you can sneak about and just gradually work your way around them. So in the one bit where I was like in this party, and it must have been there's dozens of these Eternus at this party. I unlocked the power to throw people about, and I'm up high somewhere. So I just literally wander about up high, jumping, blinking between different parts of this bit, laying them, throwing them around the room, back and forth, like dozens of them at a time.
Mate.
At least it cost me about 20 minutes I was doing this. Gradually throwing them and killing them. And sometimes I figure out where I am, and they come rushing up, trying to get to me, and up the stairs, and I did eventually, occasionally they do sort of talk you out. And you do find yourself being, because you can't save scum, you do find yourself being a little bit more cautious.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do die, and if you like, once you've lost like your 2 regens, you're like, right, I've got to be fucking careful here, because if I don't, I'm losing everything I'm carrying.
Is it too so like in Souls? So if you die and you get your stuff back, it doesn't matter if you die again.
You've got 2 lives effectively, and once you die 3 times, that's it. The game you reset. The loop resets.
Okay, sure. So I was going to say, so if you die, get your stuff back, and then die, it's over anyway.
Yeah.
Even
so,
if
but so the reason you want to get your stuff, but you don't lose like weapons and stuff, but you do lose your residium, which is what you use to infuse weapons and keep them from loop to loop. So when you die, you go back and get your residium. If you die again, you go and get residium, and then if you die a 3rd time, that's all gone. You lose everything. Everything you haven't infused goes.
Okay, sure. Okay.
And then the loop starts again in the morning the next day. So there is a punishment to dying. So you do find yourself being a little bit cautious of what you're doing, particularly once you've lost a couple of lives. And bear in mind, you can die for things like blowing yourself up or falling. And I've once accidentally misjudged a blink and I ended up falling to my death.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the game is smart enough that if you fall to your deaths where you can't normally get to, it moves your corpse back to somewhere you can actually pick up your stuff.
Like in Neo and Souls and stuff like that.
You can't lose your stuff permanently. You'll still be able to find a way to
They can still make it awkward as piss, but it's still there that you can get to.
Yeah. So you can pick your stuff up, but obviously once you've done anything, I've just wasted a life doing that. I mean, there was one level where I was pissing around when I first came out and ended up falling to my death in the first 2 minutes. Like, well, I've just wasted an entire life there doing that. Your lives do reset when you go between levels. So you have effectively got you've got 2 spare lives per level.
Okay.
As long as you get out the exit, you can go back. But it is neat. I think though it does respawn enemies, because I remember coming back from thinking, I thought I killed these people here, and also they're back again. So I do think it respawns enemies after a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got certain things that you can hack things as well. You've got a little hacking device, and there'll be enemies who've got radios. And if you hack the radio, you can stop them calling reinforcements. Otherwise, if they realise you're there, they'll call in reinforcements.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sort of like make turrets. You can like hack turrets to your side and pick them up and throw in place and deploy, which is quite fun because turrets are really effective against enemies. They're really good. So they're almost overpowered turrets. The amount of times I would like get a turret, override it, pack it into a briefcase, walk someone who's a load of people, throw it down on the floor, then activate it, and it pops out and just starts shooting people here, left, right, and centre. And it'll happily take out sort of like half a dozen of them before it gets destroyed. It's like, and you can find some places there's loads of them about, so you just keep throwing them down there. The turrets are a little bit overpowered in this. I mean, they'll kill you really quickly as well. You do take damage really easy. It doesn't take a lot. If you don't pay attention, if you do get shot, you probably only take 4 or 5 hits and you're down.
Yeah.
So you can, apparently has got location damage. If you get hit in the head, it'll pretty much kill you.
Yeah.
So you are quite vulnerable. So you can't quite go mad. Having said that, the AI is pretty stupid, and even with high odds against me, I was able to defeat them fairly easily. Even when there's like 10 people against me, by simple just normal FPS tactics, I was able to pretty quickly overpower them and so forth. But then you were brought in as the security expert. You were a soldier who were brought in to be the security for the loop, and all these other guys aren't. So that kind of makes sense that you're just waiting for him because you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
These guys don't. So but I have to say it's quite fun. It's definitely moving on. Colt and Juliana, they know each other, and it's all at the start of each level they'll talk to each other on the radio, and it's quite funny because the first time I encountered Juliana, I managed to overpower and kill her, and got a slab, and the next level loads up. Colt basically talks to her and basically just mocks her for like, oh yeah, I killed you. First many deaths you're going to have off me. And she's like, don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. And they'll take the piss out of each other. And Colt is, I do find something. First time he gets a gun that carries over. First time he gets Residium and he manages to carry a gun from to another level. He picks up and goes, yes, it worked. It fucking worked. And he starts trying to work out a name for his gun. I was like, Mr. Fluffy. No, Colt Jr. No, that sounds too narcissistic. That's just stuff. It's just I'm not trying to decide what name I was going to name his gun. So it is fun. I say it's not quite got that X factor Dishonored has. I'm not quite sure what about it. I play it. You know, when you play a game, it's like there's nothing really wrong with this. I just can't get what. I'm just not quite enthused with it.
Yeah. No, I get
that's
that all the time.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing really wrong with this game, but I just can't say why. Just not quite. I don't feel quite so sold of the story in the world.
That's kind of whenever I say to someone something is shit, that's basically my groove. Like, it's there. It could be solid. It could be. There could be so many good little bits about it, but for some reason, it's missing that spice.
X factor.
Yeah.
As they would say, it's missing something, and I can't quite place my finger on what it is. That I prefer Dishonored over this.
Sure.
But I mean, as I said, I'm still enjoying it. I'm still firing up. But whereas Dishonored, I'd fire up and I'd sit there. Once I fired it up, I'd then be playing it for the next 8, 10, 12 hours.
Yeah.
This, I'm firing up, playing it for like 2 or 3 hours and going, yeah, I'm going to go do something else now.
Yeah, I get that groove.
Yeah. So,
When you start looking at the clock as you're playing a game, you're thinking to yourself, maybe it's time to put it down.
yeah. But it works actually quite well because it's quite compartmentalized. It actually works quite well for that. Obviously, you have to finish a level. You can't quit mid-level because there is no sort of in-level saving or checkpointing.
Right.
So you can't quit mid-level. So you have to get back to, but you can at any point go back to the parts unless Junior has locked you out. You can at any point just go to the exit and leave, but you can't just Alt F4 out. You have to go back and leave unless you don't care about anything you've unlocked that in the progress you've made.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's fine. And I imagine it would be getting. I can imagine the raid issue where like you've got like say 7 of the 8 visionaries out. And you're about to take out the 8th one, and then you die for the last time the loop resets. I imagine that'll be a bit rage and juicy, still. But yeah, I'm still playing it, and I'll definitely be carrying on playing it. So I do want to, I want to kill those bastard visionaries.
Sure.
Because they're all most of them, some of them are alright. Some are just a bit eccentric. Some are absolute bastards. There's like one guy who's like. He's all like this wolf motif, and he's this big narcissist, and he's like, yeah, I bought all this stuff, all these patents to all these medicines, and hiked the price up. Well, it's not my fault people are too poor to afford them, is it? That's good business. And he's like, yeah, I bought a tenant block and then burnt it down with insurance on it. Tenants all died, and I got the insurance money. So
beautiful, absolutely
he's
beautiful.
A bastard, yeah. And his party's called the Devouring of the Lambs. And there's like people there sort of like giving a little speech about why they're meant to be the wolves, and there's like a trapdoor on the stage, and if they give like a really shitty like reason why they should be a wolf, the trapdoor opens and they disappear. It wasn't until I got downstairs so I noticed the trapdoor leads to a meat grinder.
Oh mate,
I was like, yeah, but because the thing is, from their point of view, it doesn't matter. They reset.
Yeah.
So I think it's only the visionaries that remember.
Oh yeah, sure.
What goes on. So everybody else doesn't remember what goes on to the next loop. So they can all say anything. They just reset and they don't care. And it's like there's a bit early on where someone says like, there's a sergeant talking to somebody. She goes like, right, whoever that person up there with you, he's really annoying. Just shoot him, please. It's okay. He'll come back on the next loop, but just shoot him for me. So I was like, so yeah. She's like, yeah, okay then. And he's like, what the fuck? So I'll see you next loop. Bye.
Damn.
So, yeah, no, but yeah, it's. I like the concept, I like the idea. It's got a slight X factor missing. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe I'll work it out by the time we speak again.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You know that this year is a year of resetting, which is funny that you just talked about Deathloop. Yeah, it is. We're making some changes. We're doing things.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to change things by doing the exact same thing I think I did in episode 1 of this podcast. What did I talk about in the first episode of the podcast? I could be wrong.
You talked about, was it Hyperdimension Neptunia?
Aha! So I am right then. Ram.
Yes.
Ram.
Yeah.
This year, mate, I'm going to be talking a lot about Hyperdimension Neptunia.
Oh, okay.
Because they remade the first one again, but on the PlayStation 5.
Oh, well, there you go.
And
so you've got that to look forward to.
No, I've been playing it, mate. Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, mate. 4 hours of it. It's the Vita version of the game with extra stuff.
I've upgraded the graphics at least.
A little bit. Like a little bit.
The Vita was quite a long time ago.
And I'd like to throw out there as a PlayStation 5 exclusive right now, right? And there are games in the Hyperdimension Neptunia series that are on PlayStation 4 that look better. But yeah, they remade it again. They called it Hyperdimension Neptunia Reverse. And yeah, they did Hyperdimension Neptunia. And then they remade it with the second game's battle mechanics for Rebirth 1. Rebirth. Hey, there you go. See, they're redoing it. And now there's Reverse. They're doing it again. Yeah. The cutscenes look like they're from a Vita. The character models look like they've had some kind of filter put on them to make them look like they're higher res than they really are. Neptunia, it's back. Yeah, boy.
This sounds almost as good as the GTA remaster.
No, I'd say this is better because GTA sucks balls. Like,
Did you see some posted on they reckon that like all they did with the Dream remaster was put it through some AI to up the polygons.
If I had to be honest with you, that's kind of what Neptunia's going for at the moment. But they have added in like a fishing mini game now, so that uses the PlayStation 5 triggery things. So that's worth the game being an exclusive, right? And they put in some more characters. Because when they made the first one and then they remade the first one, they took some characters out of the thing and they put them back in the remake of the remake that they remade, right? So not all of them though, but just some of them. With the fishing mini game is there, yeah, and.
Do you need to wait for the remake of the remake of the remake to get all the characters back?
Well, I don't know because I don't actually know which characters are in it yet, but I know there's lots of them that shouldn't be there yet. And see, if you play the remake on the PC, right? Like you can get DLC that gives you 2 really high power characters, like right at the fucking start. Well, in the PlayStation 5 game, they give you like I don't know how many, but a fucking lot of them at the start of Chapter 2. And now you can have 4 characters walking around instead of 3. But the game still talks to you like you can only have 3 characters with you. And it's fucking weird because they don't acknowledge the 4th character at all or don't fucking seem to at this point. Hey, I was fighting 3-on-1. No, you weren't, sweetheart. You were fighting 4-on-fucking-1. And it was still, for some reason, quite a tough fight, even though I thought I'd stacked the odds in my favour. But, yeah. Also, they've literally just used the Rebirth voice track. I don't think they've actually done anything to it. They've just taken the English dub is the Vita one. So where they changed some of the voice actors in later versions of the games. No, not in this one. The remake has got the original cast. Really pushing the boat out on this one.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Still enjoying it, though. Still got all the same stupid humour in it.
Let's be honest. You're always going to enjoy it, won't you? Let's be honest.
Fourth wall breaks galore. Puddings. Video game consoles.
If I'm correct, isn't this one that's about the gaming console wars?
Yes, it is. Yes. The console wars of game industry.
As told for the medium of anime girls.
It's fantastic. Because if you've ever looked, do you remember when they did those stupid adverts where like the PlayStation 3 and the Wii comparison, and like the Wii was this bubbly blonde chick, like this skinny blonde chick, and then like and it's like all fun and giggly and all that kind of stuff, and then the PlayStation 3 is like, because the PlayStation 3 is a fucking huge console, the PlayStation 3 is this quite heavy set but really strict woman wearing like a business suit or some shit.
I don't remember that, but I'll have to look him up.
Just imagine those adverts, but instead of it being like a bubbly blonde chick,
it's sort of like I'm a Mac on my PC type thing.
Yeah, that kind of groove. That's what they did with the PlayStation and the Wii back in the day. Hyperdimension Neptunia, all your games consoles are anime girls. They're goddesses apparently. Your console is a girl. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yep. And if you don't worship them, they suck. They get really bad and they fail. Just like how it happened in the real console wars.
Yeah, we all remember how everybody stopped worshipping consoles and then Sony disappeared.
I
And
wish.
Nintendo and Sega and Atari.
Yeah,
Poor
because
Atari.
I could. Thank you for reminding me. Actually, I was going to say I remember. Was Atari in the game? Yes, it was. See,
Other ones.
console
Dreamcast
wars,
in there?
motherfucker.
Dreamcast in there?
Yes, Dreamcast is in there, which is weird because I don't think the Dreamcast character was even introduced until the PlayStation 4 game. So they have literally taken a bunch of characters from later games and slapped them into the first one, but the game doesn't seem to acknowledge that they are there, story-wise. Because obviously they haven't re-recorded any of the dialogue, so they've just gone, bah! Shotgun characters, there you go.
Oh.
But there's some remixes to the music. That's pretty good. I'll talk about it more when I actually play more of it to see if they actually changed anything else. But so far, it's like they've added in some new music. They've slapped in a load of characters that don't get acknowledged. They've made it so that 4 players walk around instead of 3. And there's a fishing game. Yeah, fishing.
Everybody loves a fishing game.
Yep. It's fucking great. There you go. Job done.
Marvellous. Not job done.
Vita
Fair
games
enough.
on telly. Yeah.
Cool.
I know.
All right. Anything else you need?
Nope, that's it, mate.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for me. So if anyone's watching, I've been the Suffer Cram.
Skazz.
Please come join us in a couple of weeks on our next podcast on the 15th of January 2022. Almost.
Yeah, that one.
Almost.
2.
Yeah. 2022, yes. You can also join us on our games nights. We'll be here on January the 4th, 2022 at approximately 8:30. You can join me on twitch.tv/thesuffercram.
And me, twitch.tv/Skazz, SK4ZZO0US.
Yes, so very much for watching, and we'll see you in a fortnight's time.
Yeah, unless for some reason we all get nuked from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
We can only hope.
Lockdown 2022 initiate. Woo!
Yeah. Yeah. So what? 2020. The best comic I ever saw of this new year was a bunch of people standing around the corner of a door, and they've got a broom, and they're gradually opening the door, and it just says 2022 on the door.
Yeah, I'm not getting my hopes up. Like I said, karma debt until 2020, like 2024, 2025. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.